1400s to 1600s existed a type of disease called the plague, also known as the Black Death. Back then, it killed millions and millions of people.
The plague was carried on by fleas, and then from the fleas, they would be carried by rats. And then from the rats, the disease would spread by humans, from humans. And it looks like it still exists in many parts of the world. It was a very dangerous disease in the 14th century in England.
This picture shows a victim that has had that disease in him. It spreaded all around his feet. That this disease was also very contagious. It would spread very quickly.
The plague started in England in the 14th century, a time period where it was very non-sanitary and rat-infested. It was common to get that disease back then because people would get sick too fast, and there wasn't that type of medication in that century.
Because of the Black Death, William Shakespeare and other playwrights could not perform their own plays in the theater. It was very frustrating for them.
When people got struck by that disease, they would usually have a really high fever, their lungs would start to dissolve, a type of bacteria would start forming underneath the skin, and they would start throwing up a lot of blood, and there was no cure.
This disease hit many towns in England and Italy. Many families suffered from it and suffered from their loved ones passing away.
Usually, the victims that get infected with that disease die right away, or they fight for a really long time with very severe consequences.
Many people believe that the Black Death was a huge turning point in history because it opened up the eyes to medical vision, medicine, and stuff. I guess like before, people didn't really realize that some sicknesses can be that tragic that they could kill half of their population. Another reason why it was a huge turning point in history, the outbreak of the Black Death shocked the whole world out in a religious way. It caused a whole bunch of drama, fighting. Everyone was against the church. And then it killed many people, and it was, I believe, 1/3 of the population in Europe died because of it. That was a huge turning point. It spread really fast to other places, and people began to show interest into how the world worked. Science, medicine began experimenting with disease in hopes of finding cures. Inventors and inventions thrived, improving the way mankind lived, and explorers set out to find faster and more efficient trade routes and increased wealth. Seafaring flourished, and nations began developing strong senses of national unity and pride, which basically it opened up many people's eyes into medicine, which that was a huge turning point into medicine and into world and government. Also religion. And yeah.
Because of that disease, many scientists invented new types of medication to cure many types of diseases. Scientists tried so hard to find a cure for the
Also, King Charles II and the rest of the court had to leave London so they could not get infected by people in the town.
This devastating disease might be even happening in the near future.
The pandemic made people open up and show greater interest to the world and its mysteries. People began to search for a cure for the plague, caused many people to wonder about the other mysteries in the world, other diseases, and whatnot. It opened up the natural human curiosity that had been put away for centuries. People began to show interest in how the world worked. Science and medicine began. Science and medicine began. People started experimenting with disease in hopes of finding new cures.